What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, I'm going to go over the trades that we took today inside the Discord, as well as the game plan going into tomorrow. So today was a pretty slow day. I'm not going to lie. A lot of chopping around the market was doing, but we did end up catching a good trade. So before we get into that, I'm just going to go over kind of where we ended up opening up. So if you guys watched yesterday's video, I told you guys, the market is neutral because if we look here on the 30-minute chart, this 30-minute chart tells us the trend if you guys are new. So pull up the 30-minute here. It's actually the wrong contract, but if we pull up the 30-minute here, on the on the put side, 10 SMA, which is the green, is below the 50, which is the blue, so that means we're neutral over here. And then if we flip to the call side, same thing, 10 SMA, green, 50 is the blue, 10 is below the 50, so we're neutral at the moment. We are getting a little bit of a rip here in the close. Maybe the market could end up flipping back bullish, which I wouldn't be surprised at all, because again, in yesterday's video I went over that on a larger time frame perspective, I still have a bit of a bullish bias because of this chart right here. So we use the monthly contract. So this is the October 17th contract for the 670 calls. This gives us a larger time frame perspective because we use the daily time frame on this chart. And if you can see where we're at right now, we've been hovering around this 50 SMA, which is a massive support. You can see last time we popped down into it on this red wick right here. We popped down into it. That ended up marking the bottom for a couple days. So 1, 2, 3, 4 days. We end up ripping after that. And right now we're kind of just consolidating around this 50. And as long as this 50 SMA holds, I favor the bulls. And then once we get this 30-minute chart on the call side, this will pretty much confirm we're going to get a pretty solid bounce off that 50. So, this is our key resistance point. As you guys know, yesterday I told you guys we had a swing from Friday and we ended up selling it right at the 50. Why? Because it's a massive resistance point. You can see we end up topping out right at that 50, and then we saw a little bit of a pullback, and then today we end up pumping again into this 50, and eventually this 50 SMA is going to break, and I'd love to see a 30-minute cross here on the call side. That'll really give me good conviction that we're going to go higher, and then it's free sailing from there. I mean, once this 50 breaks and crosses, we'll look really good for upside. But what did we do today when it came to SPY? When we pull up the put side, there was nothing going on in the puts. If we flip to the 5-minute here, all we're looking for is a 5-minute cross, and we never got that today. You can see right here, 9:30 was the open, right all the way up here. Every time you can see this 50 SMA is our intraday resistance. It broke right here, but again, we're playing the cross, so we need to see the 10 cross above the 50, and we never got that, which I'm not really surprised by that, because again, that higher time frame perspective is a bit bullish. So no put cross ended up coming out of today, and there was nothing to take off this chart. So what we did do was take something off of the call side. So right here, we ended up catching a nice cross. 10 SMA went above the 50 here on the call side, and this is what we took. So I ended up entering 0DT contracts at 0.62. I went with the 0DTs because, one, we were near that 30-minute 50, so I wasn't expecting that much of a move, but again, it could still break. Eventually, like I said, we're eventually going to break that 30-minute 50 and get a strong bounce above it, in my opinion, because again, that monthly contract is telling me we are more bullish than bearish. So I expect that 30-minute chart to break eventually. Maybe not today, maybe tomorrow we'll get it, but we just played this cross right here. Got about 65% on the 0DT chart. I ended up selling it all on this candle right here at 14:55. So what time is it? 2:55. I ended up selling the rest of my position at, just because we hit that 30-minute 50, like I just showed you guys. We're right at it right now. So I'm just gonna take my loot. It could still rip it into the close and maybe break above, but I'm happy with what we got on that 0DT cross. So that's all we did today when it came to SPY. I mean, it's pretty simple. You just have to wait for a cross to happen. And once we get the cross, you execute. So I'll show you what that actually looked like when we just started crossing, just so you see what it looks like when I actually enter, because it's a little bit different when you see the chart after the fact than when you take it in real time. So I'm trying to find the chart. Yeah, this is what I sent to the Discord. This is funny, but okay, it's not that funny, but this is what I sent to the Discord here. This is what we looked like. So right here, contracts, 10 SMA going more than 50, looked really good, and this is what it kind of looked like for a couple minutes here. It was stalling around like 0.58 to like 0.65, and then we finally got to move higher, and yeah, I mean, we're still pumping. I mean, I do favor that 30-minute 50 breaking. If we go to the 30-minute chart, I mean, I do favor it breaking, because already tapped it once. Higher time frames are bullish, so I'd love to see us get a nice move on SPY to the upside, because I feel like everyone's kind of waiting for a downside move. And great thing with the system is, man, it really doesn't matter which way we go. We're gonna catch a move either way, because I don't really have that bias to where, because if you think about it, we get a 0 DT cross when we get a move. So, you know, if we get a 0 DT cross to the downside, we're gonna catch it. If we get a cross to the upside, we're gonna get it. So it's pretty much, if the market rips higher, we're gonna catch it. If the market rips lower, we're gonna catch it, unless it's like an overnight move. Obviously, you know, we can't obviously take crosses overnight since options aren't open. But that's kind of where I'm at when it comes to SPY. Again, the 30-minute chart is very important. This tells us the pretty much like week-to-week trend, or like it's a shorter time frame trend versus the monthly contract. So the monthly contract, it's a daily time frame we're watching, and that gives us a much larger perspective, like I said. And then on a smaller time frame basis, we use the 30-minute here on the weeklies, and once, you know, everything's kind of in line with each other, like once this 30-minute chart crosses, we're going to see a solid move up. That's just how it works when it comes to these crosses, because we know the monthlies are bullish. If we get a 30-minute cross, it's going to send us higher over you know, a shorter time frame, and then we kind of just use these higher time frame 50 SMAs here to kind of gauge how far this is going to go. So like these 50 SMAs are going to be strong areas, like the 2-hour, the 4-hour chart. I didn't even notice that this 4-hour chart was crossing negative. But that 4-hour chart will be a hefty resistance point if we get to it, and there's nothing on the daily. So like I said, right now market is still neutral. We're going to see how we open up tomorrow, but it's pretty simple. If we get a 30-minute cross on the calls right here, we're going to be bullish, and I'm only going to be focused on longs. And from that point, I'm only going to be looking for a 0 DT call cross, and then if the calls are already crossed, because you know, if we just continue to rip, then likely the 0 DT chart is going to open up cross tomorrow. And if that's the case, just look for a 50 SMA dip, and you buy the dips on the 5-minute chart. So what I mean by that is pretty simple. If we pull up the 5-minute here, I'm going to use the calls for an example. Yeah, so pretty much if this chart here, is this the right chart? No, this is 670s. If we get the, so like right now, let's say the market, we're crossed on the 30-minute chart, we come down in this 50 SMA, you know, let's just say we open up exactly like this on the contracts we're watching tomorrow, and we come down to this 50, you buy the 50 dip, and if we break the 50, you stop out. If we hold the 50, you continue to hold. If you don't want to buy the 50 dip and you're looking for more confirmation, you could wait for a reclaim of the 10 SMAs. So that means we come down, hit the 50, bounce, get a closure back above the 10 SMA, as long as the 10 SMA is not sloped down really hard. That's when I don't take a reclaim. And you know, you shouldn't take the reclaims when the 10 SMA is sloped down super hard. You want it to be more so like flat, you know, kind of just how this looks right here. I'm trying to give an example. Yeah, so right in here, you'd want the 10 SMA to look like this. It's kind of flat, you know, it's not sloped down super hard like this. You know, if we got a candle closure above the 10 while we're crossed, and we look like this, I wouldn't take it. It's got to be more so, you know, like how it's sloped up right here, or more level. And again, the chart has to be crossed for me to do that. It's not, I'm not playing the reclaim down here. I'm just giving an example of what the 10 SMA should look like when you get a reclaim. So as long as it's not sloped down super hard, that's when you play the reclaim, if you want to take the safer route instead of buying the 50 dip. So that's what we did today on SPY. Individual stocks, I ended up stopping out of Apple today. I just tried playing a 4-hour 50 bounce. I went over this yesterday. I did take a re-entry on it today, but it just didn't end up playing out, and we didn't get the bounce. So what are they at right now? Yeah, 0.4. I mean, it's not really giving us a bounce either way. So it was pretty simple. I saw this 4-hour 50. It's a higher time frame 50 SMA, so it's a stronger area of support, and we just couldn't quite hold it. I mean, it was, as you can see, it was just stalling out right here. We bounced, then finally we're getting a closure below. So I ended up stopping out of this today for like 40%. So the risk to reward on this trade was through the roof, because if we did get that bounce from the 4-hour 50, this was going to be a really, you know, 100%, 150% trade, just because it is such a high time frame support. So if we did end up getting the bounce, you know, it'll be a strong one, which unfortunately didn't play out, so we ended up stopping out of that. But you know, we made up for it with our SPY trade today. 65%, can't really complain with that. But I'm pretty sure that's all we did today. Yeah, I ended up actually closing out the rest of my PayPal. I went over this yesterday. This is the trade we took yesterday. I was holding runners into today, and we ended up stopping out at break even on the remainder. I'm just gonna show you the chart real quick of what that ended up looking like if you kind of missed the video from yesterday. But It was pretty simple. All we did yesterday was play this 30-minute cross. So 10 SMA went above the 50. I ended up buying this 50 SMA dip because there was such a drastic move that already happened. I was waiting for a retracement. Came to the 50, I bought it there. It popped up at the end of the day yesterday. Got about 65, 70%. Closed half, and then I got stopped at even on the rest today. Reason I went break even was because we did hit major resistance here. That 4-hour 50, like I said, just like on Apple, it goes the other way. If we're under the 4-hour 50 and it's sloped down hard, that's going to be a major resistance point. So we ended up getting a hard rejection at the 50, and unfortunately for Apple, we didn't end up bouncing from the 50. So that's kind of how I use the higher time frames to gauge, where we currently might go on the stock, and kind of use them as my take profits. And then obviously we end up losing these 50 SMAs here on the higher time frames because this 4-hour chart ended up, like I said, that 4-hour 50 sloped out super hard, got a strong rejection off of there. So I didn't really want to continue to hold this if it came back to my fill. So that's what we did today. If you guys enjoyed, drop a sub. If you guys want to learn, join the Discord down below. That's where I'm at all day, every day. If you want to see the trades we take live, live, like in real time, not live as in like live trading, live as in, exactly when I'm entering the trades, because I do call them out in the Discord. More importantly, I want you guys to learn how I read these charts and trade them every day. So that's the place to be if you want to learn. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'm out. Peace.